see successful entrepreneurs, it's always kind of gives a lot of pleasure. And Mr. Kumar Ravel is a successful entrepreneur with his natural salon, and Deepak is a serial entrepreneur. Now, kind of as an investor, you have a session tomorrow where they will talk about how to source funding and what are the funding options. So I'll not go through that. I'll just talk about what's happening in our industry and kind of the economy that we are going through. As Mr. Kumar Ravel mentioned, these are interesting times. We see a lot of technological changes that are happening, which we see more of new business models being formed. A lot of disruptive changes are happening in the economy, or the industry, or at a particular market segment. To cite an example, e-business is a concept that has really picked up over the last 2 years. Now, what is the basic driver for this? Is it because the consumer or the customers want to kind of buy online, or is there something that is driving them? Let me give 2-3 kind of main drivers what is driving this e-business. If you can, if I may ask some of you, which is that technology which has transformed our industry over the last decade, or I would say last 5 to 6 years? If somebody can kind of mention that. Mobile phone. Why is that? Sorry? Connectivity, only connectivity? Yes, yeah, a lot of answers. See, basic 2 things. One is, as the gentleman said, connectivity. The second most important factor is a computing power. See, if you just go back, personal computers, if you come up when personal computers came into the market, it just replaced the mainframe. Personal computers made a significant change to the way the business is done, the way we interact, even in our lives. How did that happen? It brought computing power to the masses. Now the same thing is happening with the mobile phones, or basically any handheld devices. What it has done is merge 2 most important tools man has known till now, which is basically the communication and computing power. So what is this is driving a lot of changes in the industry, and e-business is just one of the examples of that. Social media. Did we think about the impact that social media is having in our life like 5 years ago? No. It has brought a sea change in the type of communication that we kind of have with our peer group, or with our customers, or with our friends and relatives. See, from a business perspective, if I say, what is the most important change that the social forum has brought about? See, if you look back, from a businessman's perspective, the customer was more or less unidentifiable, not identifiable, but he was disconnected with the business. You were able to sell your product or services with your customer, that's it. You have forgotten him. Probably your customer will use the product and services. Either you will be happy or delighted. Now what has the social media has done to you? Basically now there is a 360-degree feedback from the customer to the producer or the service provider. Suddenly what you have, that your product, the particular product or the brand name or the company or the services or the event is getting much more mileage. I wouldn't say mileage, but it's more transparent out there. So the new age businesses have to take cognizance of this fact. How do they do that? If I am a businessman and if I'm a B2C kind of service provider, I would be more interested in knowing what my customers or the consumers feel about my product and services, and where else I go to get a feedback. Social media, you go to the Facebook, you go to other social media sites, try to gather the feedback. It helps you do things, not only to kind of place you in terms of how your service deliverability vis-a-vis your competitors, but also in terms of helping you make your product and services better. I just cited 2 examples, but obviously, there are a lot of technology being talked about. There are technology being talked about cloud computing, whereby you don't need to invest in memory assets. You can all kind of use it as a service model. Then you have 3D printing, which is a new concept that is coming up. Nobody knows what could be the impact 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, but obviously it's going to change the way a lot of people do the business. Then we are talking about, things have been talked about, Internet on Things. It's basically you have small sensors whereby you monitor your process via the internet. So these are the things that are happening all around us. I don't know in what way kind of it may impact you and me, but it certainly is going to impact some of us in drastic way. And as an entrepreneur or as a business person or as a business head, I need to take cognizance of this fact. I need to re-strategize my business plan or to kind of change my strategy in how I reach out to my customer or how I service my consumer. Having said this, the change is happening, but change is happening at a very slow pace. But I'm sure, we will get hit by what has happened, like in eBusiness that has come in over the last 2 years. It has suddenly made some of the business redundant. Talking about when you compare 2 business, one a large enterprise and another a small business, both targeting the same customer, right? The large enterprises have certain strength, financial strength, the human capital strength, and the one most important thing is the distribution strength. Compared to that, if I kind of ignore financial capital for both financial capital and human capital for some time, the most important thing what the large business has vis-a-vis a small business is the power of distribution network. Now suddenly what has happened is the eBusiness comes in. Location in terms of the product deliverable or the service deliverables is no more the differentiating factor. A small business now can equally compete with a large business just by plugging on to the e-business marketplace. So this is the power of change that is happening. Thank you.